Yo, 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 yo. This is TechP, and this is the podcast stable. I am joined by Mr. Cam Era today. Cam Era, welcome. Welcome home. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for this conversation.
Why is that?
Say it again.
Well, what are you so eager to, delve into?
I haven't had a moment to make my coffee yet, so I haven't. It's not probably time to really jump into the meat of it, and so I like to do things out of love and in flow and in good spirit, and so I just, for the moment, I'll just say I've been looking forward in love to spending this time with you today. You're looking really. I love the gerrymandering, once a gracious man. Yes, sir, gerrymandering.
Yeah, we here.
Yeah. So let me. How's the week been, man? How you been feeling?
About this upcoming week or last week?
Just whatever comes to mind.
I'm gonna make my picks as they come. I'm gonna talk through it with the podcast table. We're gonna go through each of the games, and once I'm done analyzing it out loud, I'll make my picks. And today I'll feel confident. Last week there was a lot of picks where I made, and I told myself not to pick this team, and I'm picking them and some other stuff. But today is gonna be the era is here. Era started. I could not bring the era out until I got my feet wet, all this and that, and now the losses are out of the way. And today is the beginning of an era.
The losses. What is the losses?
The losses. I took some losses on my picks.
The L's.
Yeah.
The L's.
Starts with L, yes.
Yeah, the L's. You gave good effort. The energy was there. The intent was there, and just didn't get the outcomes. And so, it was, if I was inspired, music kind of speaks to me as Tech P. And so, let me cut this music here. And I want to jump in and show what I was inspired to create by the impact of your performance last week. It was something that when I thought about creating, when I looked at the graphic of it, seeing as where we are in the season. Just give me one moment here. Let me find this. Yeah, where we are in the season. I really felt like this was a timely piece. Let me see if I can pull this up here at the stage, and then let's put us in that. And so it was this piece, and the musical selection really brought back some memories. Does it play music on here? Isn't that something? Oh, I know where I can play it. Young, what's going down, man? What week are we in?
We're going into week 4.
We're going into week 4, so we've been through 2 weeks, and we have two 0 for 5s. And so you say the era is here today. Can you explain, what does that mean?
Like I said, the era can begin now. Now that I've taken the losses, kind of seen what the reactions in the results are. I got some data and some context behind every pick now. I mean, every pick that I picked, I feel like it wasn't a bad pick. I mean, besides the Giants, other than that, I got enough context behind the picks to make my picks this week and going forward. We are in week 4. We got enough tape and data for me to begin the era. And so, yes, I went 0 for 5. I'm 4-11, but I will come out with a very solid record. I don't want to compete with anybody, but I'm just saying it's going to be a very solid record from here on out. So,
I went 3-2 last week and lost. I'll say this: you were in a lot of games. If they would have just went one play, one play difference, it could have been a different position. But we are where we are, and so for the season, Cam's 4-11, TechP is 8-7, and so it's a question of whether or not we can keep it up. And for you don't want to keep it up, and for me, I would want to pick up the pace, and so that's how I see it. I'm loving my position that I'm in right now. And also, too, like I said, there's some opportunities now that we're in somewhat of a flow. And the Dallas Cowboys are actually delivering the president of the retired Dallas fan club. They're delivering as the president of the retired Dallas fan club. We retired. We are sitting on the sidelines and we're looking back at what was, and we're seeing what's now. They are making me look strategic. They're making me look like a forward thinker. If what you care about is winning, and we have to go into, because of gerrymandering, we have to go into actually making sure we define winning the same way. Because with the Dallas Cowboys, they are winning without actually winning with the score at the end of the game. And so those of us here in America, because that's America's team, we now have an option. We now have an option to come over and retire. Let Jerry have it. Gerrymandering, we carry that mantle forward as people who move forward in truth, in light. And we're no longer going to accept gaslighting when it comes to whether or not we have a winner here in Dallas. We have to accept reality. I heard this week someone mention, I think it was Steven, we're really excited about Joe Blow coming back from injury at cornerback. I don't even know who this player is. I don't know who this player is. The players that I do know, are playing for another team, making a difference. And right now, we would have to say that our defense is missing Micah. And so, let me correct that language. That their defense. See, I almost slipped back into being a Dallas Cowboy fan. See how tight that line is? It's a very tight line. And so what I'm saying is gerrymandering in truth provides us liberation. So won't you come? All you Dallas Cowboy fans that's sick of not winning on the scoreboard, won't you come? Come join One Integration. Stop by the store. Pick up your gerrymandering gear. Wear it as a mantle so that we can actually say something here in Dallas about, and America, because this is America. I've seen, I was in Mexico for my wedding and was able to sit back in a whole club and watch the Dallas Cowboys. Me and my best friend. Everywhere in the world, Dallas Cowboys, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
Well, what you want to go ahead and get started on this upcoming week?
Man, you take I just take it where you. Let me make my coffee, man. You drive. Tell me where we going.
All right, let me pull up this email I just sent to myself. We got some games this week. It's gonna be tough. I know the era is started, but it's not like it's about to be easy because we got a slew of games today. We got the Gerrymanderers versus the Packers. You know,
Oh my God.
we got the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Um, and we got a couple other games where it's like, but I tried to keep it interesting. I tried to, make sure that we got a little bit of everything. But we're gonna start with the quarterback change. Uh, some people say he could have been a Hall of Famer. Some people says he definitely not a Hall of Famer. But Russell Wilson's getting benched this week. The Chargers are in New York, and Jackson Dart is going to play his first game in the NFL. And he's going up against John Harbaugh and these Chargers. And I have to say, there's a lot of talk about him playing good in the preseason, this, that, and the other. For me personally, I would have said, hey, Russ, you can start this game just because next week they have the Saints. And so I would have liked to probably give him a little bit more confidence than today. But I definitely got the Chargers in this one. John Harbaugh, I don't know if he has a contending team yet, but they're serious enough to where I'm like, this is a game that they should win. I think they go and take care of business like they should. So I think it'll be pretty fairly easy too. But hey, like I said, I don't pick anybody that I don't really have any real tape on. That went for the Vikings quarterback who played in Michigan.
JJ.
Yeah, it goes,
JJ went crazy on those Bears, didn't he?
yeah, he went crazy on the Bears. And anyways, so for me, I can't pick the rookie quarterback. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. A little layup to get back out of this 0-5.
I would say, it is in the words of my good friend Guatemala Guate, if you out there, leave a little whatever in the comments. We had, and if you went to college with us and you lived in New Livingston Hall, Guate used to used to walk the yard and walk through the hallways, and he used to hit him with a bit script. And while he was doing that, he was playing like he was dribbling, and then script was the layup. And so that game is a bit script. Yeah, that's a nice little two-piece crossover layup finishing at the cup. And of course, we have to take Jim Harbaugh. And I would say we at the beginning of the season we were calling them Justin Hair Loss or Justin something.
And that will still hold true when it comes to playoff time, because I've never given him that game because he's just a regular season loser. He just happened to blow one of the biggest leads in the playoff game of all time. Had a team down at 22-0. So hey, her loss is still applicable.
Hey, and listen, I just gotta say that's an easy one. Now I do want to point out, is it Daboll? Is that the name of the coach there in New York?
Yeah, Brian.
This decision to play Jackson Dart in his first start in this situation could be very, very questionable. And then when you add to the fact that it's at least a decent likelihood that he could stink it up, and his name rhymes with Shart, it should not have been it should have been a no-go. They could be calling him Jackson Shart for his whole career if this goes bad. They should not be starting Jackson Dart today. No way. No way.
I feel like he's under a lot of pressure.
No way.
He got hired. I'll say this as like a footnote for my finals. He got hired as supposing to be a quarterback whisperer because of helping develop quote unquote Josh Allen. And Josh Allen has probably been better since he's been away. Now, I'm not saying that he's better without him. It might be just natural progression. Whatever the case is, there has not been any magic from you. And Daniel Jones just left, and
And he's looking
solid. Now he's got a better line and all that stuff. I'm not trying to put everything on you, but the panic move, it better. I mean, we have to see a lot from Jackson Dart today, because if not, it's looking like this could be the end of the Brian era in New York. So
that seems to be a repetitive thing. End of eras in New York. You know, if you just remove that Peyton Manning, Eli Manning era, which he did win 2 Super Bowls somehow. Kind of, that's the other reason why we are retired. We are retired because we did sit and watch a man who just go back and look at how often you see what's his name, Eli, with his mouth open. He doesn't close his. Say it again.
Say Draymond. He was Draymond before Draymond.
Yeah, his mouth is always open. He always has this look on his face, and I couldn't stand Eli. I couldn't stand Eli because he would always beat the Dallas Cowboys. And here we are. If you just take that away from the New York Football Giants, that era, they would beat the Dallas Cowboys, but they don't have that era. They have 2 championships. And the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones do not. And so this is another gerrymandering plug. This is the podcast stable. You can go by the store, www.oneintegration.com, store.oneintegration. Check it out. Go pick it up. We need to make sure that we have a voice in Dallas. Now, let's move on, man. This is going to set me up. I'm having my coffee, and, I need to just stay chill.
Well, next up, we got a game that won't be so chill. Even just looking at the names, I'm struggling to see where I'm gonna land on. We got the defending champs, 3-0 Philadelphia Eagles, visiting the 3-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Baker has been on a run in these first 3 games. 3 game late winning drives to end each game. And honestly, today I'm thinking it might take a 4th. They've let other teams stick with them, so I don't see why the Eagles couldn't stick with them. The Eagles have a lot of things going their way. They should have not won last week. I know I went 0-5, but they really lucked out. And I'm not saying it was luck that their players blocked it and all that stuff, but just the odds of all of that, the way that it went down. They were very fortunate to come out with that win last week. The score doesn't exactly tell everything, and I think, wow, this is tough, because can Baker do it a 4th time? Will Baker do it for a 4th time? I'm going to go no. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. They have the better roster. I don't know if they're playing, they're probably playing about equal, but I just don't see Baker doing it for a 4th time. So I'm going to go with the Eagles to come out of Tampa Bay 4-0 and really put, their stamp on the NFC East.
Mike Evans playing?
Not that I know of. I can look at the injury report.
I know he didn't finish the game last week. I think I remember that. I'm not sure if the Buccaneers, this is, kind of that time in the season where you're just really working through perceptions. And are the Buccaneers for real, or are they like that mighty team that's actually doing all that they can? Like, are they maxing out? I feel like the Eagles actually have a lot left in the tank, and they could turn it up at any given point. And so with Mike Evans potentially out, I'm not saying that the Buccaneers can't win, but I'd have to go with the Eagles. That would be my pick. If I would pick, I'm picking between those two. That's my pick.
Yeah, and for me, when I look at it, I just say, hey, look, what the Eagles have faced so far, they've faced adversity and found some way to win, their games. And I look at the Buccaneers, and their late game drives are against the Texans, the Falcons, and the Jets. And for me, that's not the same resume. If I'm going to be totally honest,
Russ may be still starting if he would have played those teams.
yeah,
Russell
exactly.
Wilson probably would still be starting.
So
Russell Wilson would probably still be starting. They wouldn't. Jackson Dart would still be developing if he would have played the same. If they would have played the same teams that Baker Mayfield has, and people want to take Russ's Hall of Fame jacket away on behalf. So I'm glad you brought. I'm glad you. That was a very good detail. Thanks for sharing that.
yeah, for sure. So, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. They're gonna be 4-0, and then we'll see if they can carry that on throughout the season. They got some favorable, games coming up too. So we'll see. They have started maybe 11-0 once, and then they fell out at the end of the season. I remember a couple seasons ago, and then they ended up losing in the first round to Tampa Bay that year. So very interesting. I think they might want to get back. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Next up, we got a game that we wouldn't normally cover, but I think it's interesting. Two good teams. We got a 3-0 team in the Indianapolis Colts going to LA to face Matt Stafford and the Rams after their disappointing loss last season. They kind of blew their lead, blocked field goal at the end. The Colts have been trending for a few different reasons this season. They got Danny Dimes. They're calling him Indiana Jones. He's out there and he's winning. He's winning. There's nothing that you can say against him.
Who have they played?
Who have the Colts played? The
Yeah.
Colts have played. That's a great question. I feel like they played the Vegas Raiders, but let me go ahead and just look that up. But meanwhile, for me, and then the Rams, tough loss. This is going to be Daniel Jones's first test, his first real test, I believe. They played the Dolphins, which looking back, it's like the
This
Broncos.
is the Colts.
Yeah, the Broncos. I actually watched the end of that Broncos game. He missed the field goal at first, but they called a penalty, moved it up, and then he made the field goal after to win that game, and then they beat the Titans. So,
That 3-0 against who? The Titans and who?
Titans, Broncos, Dolphins.
That's another one of those burgers, those Fugazi burgers.
And the Rams, they've beaten the Texans and the Titans. So, it's kind of same boat. Put up a good fight against the Eagles, though.
You said the Rams have beaten the Texans and the Titans.
That's the Buccaneers.
And then last week, the Eagles needed a miracle.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I think the Eagles, they can be had, but you gotta play a complete game. So I think the Rams can definitely, I think they might be even a better team than the Eagles, but you're gonna have to play the whole game. You can't let them off the hook. They've proven that they could do it in the tight game. So this week, I'm gonna say that the Rams bounce back. Look, Danny Dimes has been playing pretty solid, but if he falls down behind in the game, let's really see if they can go down the field and score a late game field goal or something. Yeah, they did it against the Broncos, but I watched that game. There was a penalty call when he missed the first kick, and then they let him re-kick at 5 yards shorter, and he made it, and they won. So I don't know. Prove it to me again. I'm hoping Jonathan Taylor has a great day. I got him in fantasy. I put Daniel Jones on my bench because I'm not expecting the greatest day. And I think the LA Rams are going to come out with a W. Book me.
Easy. I'm taking easy. One of the things that I'm looking at is those teams that we named don't have any defensive pressure up front, and the Rams have shown last week that they could. I don't remember um, them not applying pressure up front, and so Indiana Jones might be swinging like Tarzan coming through coming through the jungle. We're gonna see out in LA today. I'm taking the Rams.
Taking the Rams. Okay, so far, we got the same pick. So if I go 0 for 3, you're going 0 for 3.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going. It's a 1-2 gradation ship now. We got a tough doozy right here. We're finally here to one of the best games of the week. It's probably America's game of the week because it's on Fox 325. We got 2-time, maybe should have been 3-time MVP Lamar Jackson going up to Kansas City, coming off their first win of the season. We are in week 4, and they had just had their first win of the season against the New York Football Giants. They will try to defend their home turf tonight against a losing streak Ravens. Who you got?
I think right here, right now, we have Ravens Chiefs. That used to be a Sunday night game. That's a 325 game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not picking Lamar to go. Oh, what they 0-3, ain't they?
They're 1-2.
1-2. I'm going with Lamar. I'm going with Lamar. Now, their defense in Baltimore, and I'm just thinking out loud. Kansas City's offense, and Worthy's back this week too.
He's already back.
That's what I thought I saw. Yeah. Let me just say this: don't nobody make no bets based off of what I said because I don't pay that. I just kind of see what's coming in and out of my span of awareness, but I do think I saw that, and so the game is going to be played. The game is being played. Ravens at Chiefs.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy's back.
Yeah. I'm taking the Ravens, man. I'm taking the Ravens. I'm taking Lamar.
Okay.
Taking Lamar.
Me.
And Henry hasn't stopped fumbling the ball.
Yeah, we very soon, Mr. Henry. I didn't put it in today's episode all the way, but a dialogue maybe started, and I started the season with a dialogue saying that we had to believe you. The benefit was not on the doubt, but the belief. But the benefit of the belief of what.
Hey, listen, Sean. I just saw a clip. Sean Alexander just had his 14th child. This was a guy that was running for 2,000 yards. People are still talking about him favorably. Former NFL running back there in Seattle. And so what I'm saying to you is you can move on and go get with your family and have a beautiful life on the other side of this. I don't know if you're there yet, but laying the ball on the ground has not been your thing in the past. And so that's a change. And that's been two big ones. 2 big ones, right?
Yeah, he's fumbled in every game so far. So Derrick Henry, they're gonna need a big game out of you today. I'm not a big fan. I'll say this every time that we cover them because I am not a big fan of John Harbaugh. I'm a big fan of Jim. I always have been. I rooted for the 49ers in that Super Bowl. I liked what he did with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick and, what he did in Michigan. But John Harbaugh, you're Doc Rivers. And yeah, I don't like Doc Rivers either. So I'm always gonna put that caveat out there. I am gonna still fall back into the resumes and looking at what these teams have faced. Uh, yes, the Chiefs faced the Eagles. Yes, the Chiefs faced the Giants. And then who was their other game that they lost to? The Chiefs. Do you know?
This year?
Oh, the Chargers. It was the first game
Yeah,
against the
yeah.
Chargers. So it's a nice little schedule now. And the Ravens, they beat the Browns and they've lost to the Lions and the Bills. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a hell of a
so
run.
both teams are solid schedules. I'm gonna take wow, both of their wins are against poo-poo teams. I'm gonna take wow, I just don't trust this Ravens defense. I don't trust John Harbaugh. But this guy has not turned the ball over this season. He's still playing great. If they can give him one game, and if anything, if he could trade those 2 games and have this one, I think the Ravens would be 1-2 going into this week to have this one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I can't. It's hard for me to bet against Lamar Jackson, despite John Harbaugh, despite the 32nd ranked pass offense. I'm gonna go with probably the best player of the last 3 years in the regular season. I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson to pull out. It's gonna have to be miraculous. I'm putting
Well, I
over.
don't know if it's gonna have to be miraculous. I mean, they may be imploding there in Kansas City. I believe I saw something about Travis Kelce and Andy Reid having a tiffed or a tapped there on the sideline or something taking place. And so I've also been seeing an uptick in intruders being arrested outside of Kelce's house. And so they may be getting a different type of attention and culture there in Kansas City. And
Well, I'll say this: if they're imploding against a 32nd ranked pass defense, then it's over.
well,
It's way more than over. So, but I'm gonna pick the Ravens in this game. And
so let me ask you this question, especially now that you made that last statement. Why do you struggle to pick Patrick Mahomes so much?
me,
Mhm. You
last
just
week
said
I was
this is Patrick Mahomes versus the 37th ranked pass defense.
yeah, but I mean, like they're not like the Kansas City Chiefs. So I mean, look, I'm giving. I said it has to be most likely miraculous. I just don't. Lamar Jackson is 1-2, and I still pick them every week. That's just how I feel about Lamar Jackson. No disrespect to Pat. Now, there's a certain dialogue about certain players that are perceived. You got LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes. If you don't have those players, those type of players in a certain place, you feel a type of way or you hate them or blah blah blah. Just because I don't have LeBron in my top 5 all time, I don't hate LeBron. Just because I got Pat Mahomes maybe at the 4, 5, or 6 spot as a QB, I don't hate the guy. I don't hate him. That's just how I rate him. But I don't hate him. So, like, he very possibly can win this game, and he could prove, or give me an L for this week. I understand that completely, but I'm not picking him versus the Ravens. Actually, I picked him the first game of the season. He let me down. My
Yeah,
first
you
0-5
did.
week. I picked
Yeah.
him the first game. Second game, I didn't pick him, and I was right. And then last week, I'm joking around, pick the Giants, yada yada yada. So this is nothing against Pat. I'm gonna give some context.
You did pick the Giants over Pat, right?
I did. I told you I was, yeah. Yeah.
The Giants are starting Jackson Dart today.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna take the Ravens. So right now we got the same picks.
Man. Hey, listen, who is it? We might have to add a wild card or something. What's
Yeah,
the last?
the last game is gonna be Cowboys versus Packers. Gerrymanders
Packers.
versus Cheeseheads.
Packers. Hey, listen, I'm talking about Micah's gonna come in here, and he's gonna. He's gonna air guitar. He's gonna be doing that claw deal. Well, all of that. If I was him, I would do every superhero catchphrase that anybody in Dallas ever thought they was gonna do. I would go stand on a star. I would do it all. I would do it all. He didn't win and made more money, got onto a better team, and now get to come back and show out in the light. America watching. I mean, Jerry Jones, how could you be so rude? I mean, good gracious. Man, Michael Parsons is tap dancing on the city of Dallas. He's tap dancing. What happened to his back? I thought he had a bad back. I thought he was injured. I thought this Kenny Clark was gonna come in here and he was gonna stop the run. Man, have y'all been watching Bubba Dub? Do you know who Bubba Dub is? Oh my God. I don't want to go to that level. And I don't know if he's just putting on a show. But if I was a real Dallas Cowboy fan right now, this is game 4. How many games total is it?
Yeah, this is game 4.
This season is done. Done. And TechP is going to go on I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to gerrymander every week. I'm not letting up, man. I am the retired Dallas fan. I gotta get it to the point where this rolls off my tongue. But I'm the president of the retired Dallas Cowboy fan club. We have one rule: you can't have no other team. We didn't retire to go get another team. No. You can get another team, but you just can't be a part of this crew. This crew we are the retired. Now, we also welcome, if you come and you want to support because you hate the Dallas Cowboys, we'll take that hate right now because we can use that. We can use that. We move in love, but if what you want to do is give us that energy so we can transmute that into change so that the fans of Dallas and Americans can have a winner. And when I say win, I define that by the scoreboard. The scoreboard, not anything else. That's what we're going to be on all year. So, matter of fact, at this point, what else we got on the agenda? Because I want to pull up and show this deal we were talking about with Cam and Mace.
The last deal is the Cowboys hosting the Packers.
Okay, and then we had something else.
You picked the Packers. I hadn't picked yet.
You picking the Cowboys?
Look, for me, I feel very differently about the whole Michael Parsons situation. I've stated that.
That's not what I said. I said, are you picking the Cowboys?
Let me talk through it. I said at the beginning of the show that I was going to talk through it with the podcast table and come to the conclusion after I was done saying it out loud.
I mean, you building some suspense here.
Look, Micah Parsons has never had a problem playing at the beginning of the season. The litany of this trade is going to come down to at the end of the season and in the playoffs where he has one playoff sack. Tomorrow or tonight, I think he'll have a solid game. They lost to the Browns last week. They lost to the Browns. I don't know if they're that good. The only thing that's stopping me right now is that Javonte Williams could fumble again, or Miles Sanders could fumble again, or somebody could tip the ball up and then it's a pick. And the Dallas defense has no turnover power. No turnover power. But there's one quarterback who can give you one game. It's 4. It's 4. Jordan Love, he's a turnover machine with no pressure. So I'm going to, in the sake of being a bit different, I'm going to go with the upset. There are upsets every week in the NFL, and this is going to be the game.
Cameron, you need to gain ground. This is not the time to be charitable. You need to gain ground. You're right. Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott, if he had a different team, I mean, Dak Prescott he's not reflected in these wins and losses.
Yeah, I'm just saying I haven't picked any upsets this week, and there are upsets every week.
So you're just doing it because of the math of an upset is potential, not
there's
that
the
you
math, and there's the fact that I just like I'm not the Micah guy, bro. I mean, maybe because he's not
just Micah.
Maybe because he's not doing his podcast this year. Maybe that's helping. But look, I'm not gonna pick it. Just because of that. I don't think that's what it all comes down to. It's very possible that they lose, but I think Jordan Love got some turnovers in him.
Jordan Love could turn the ball over. They could turn the ball over. I'm still at this point, with what I've seen, the Dallas Cowboy defense can't stop anyone from doing anything. And so, and I don't hear any accountability in there. I hear gerrymandering going on. After the game, I hear Jerry talking about, whatever we got this Joe Blow coming back we need some help at cornerback. We got Joe Blow coming. This guy's never played a game in the NFL. And so, I mean, isn't it a lot of pressure? I mean, he's not someone he wasn't a first rounder for a reason. And so now we're going to put that type of pressure on him as though he was, something that we expected to jump off the field when we drafted him. When we didn't draft him in the first round. And no one else did. And so, it's a bit of gaslighting when you think about the things that this guy says. And, one would just say, oh, he's just the ultimate salesperson. Well, if he's selling, I ain't buying. I'm not buying. And so I look at it. It's not about Micah. Micah would have made the Dallas Cowboys better. We can't say we can unequivocally state that their defense would have been better with Micah. That's period. Okay, so now when stating that, would they have been a Super Bowl team? No, they would not have been a Super Bowl team based off of what I see. I don't think Micah would have taken this team and they would have been a Super Bowl team. And maybe that's why Jerry said, hey, look, and that's why I'm gonna let you go. Now, if that's the case, then now we got to say, was it a better, did he reach that conclusion after all of that time, or did he reach it early and then decide to wait all of that time? Because what was your strategy in dragging all this out and leading this guy on when you knew that, oh, this team ain't no good, it's not worth that invest? So just the thought process that could have gone into making this decision seems a little bit different, and it seems like something that wasn't about thinking about the person or thinking about the. It just seemed like something that was very, you're not gonna do it my way, you're not gonna submit, you're out of here. Okay, so if that's the case, and this was just something you just did on a humbug, that means that anything you do, you will justify.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if we would have been a better team with Micah Parsons this year. Like, hey, yeah, teams are throwing against us, or I hate saying us. Teams are throwing against Dallas, but last year they were running against Dallas. So.
When you say us, it's because the reason why you struggle is because we are from Dallas.
Well, look, I've never been a Cowboys.
No, I'm just saying, I'm talking about the city of from the city of Dallas, and we're saying Dallas in the same sentence. So psychologically, you get this term us. But when we do have to, I am the president of the retired Dallas Cowboy fan club. And so that's who I am. That's who I'm with.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the last topic. What were you wanting to talk about?
I forgot. Let's keep going.
You don't know? Okay, we'll do let's see. Zion Williamson. Transformation. Well, what you think about that? You think it'll lead to more wins? Do you think that it's going to be helpful for the position that he plays? And when I watch Zion, he moving people out of the way. Strong arming people. Now he's slimmed up. How do you think that's going to affect this game and the Pelicans?
Man, can you imagine like Zion now? People bodying him, people backing him down,
Well, they
turning
don't.
around, turning around, drop step on. Now, keep in mind, Zion ain't but like 6'5". You
Yeah,
know,
well, ain't nobody backing down but Joker and maybe Embiid. That's about it. Nobody playing in the post anyway. So I
Draymond to
mean,
back him down.
man, and do
Hey,
what?
huh?
And
But
do
I mean,
what?
but Draymond is Draymond. He's just doing it because it's Zion, and this is an opportunity for him to, do whatever he wants to do against somebody that he would have never done that against before. So to answer your question, what do I think about it? I think that first of all, I don't trust what I see online, and so with AI and all of these things and generative AI and I just never filters. I never really know what's real. And so I'm going to actually have to see him in what I believe is a live game before I can actually really adjust my eyes to what his body really is. But based off of what I've seen, which it looked like his body structure was much more like mine now. I am today I am 6'1", 177 pounds. That's a little light for me. And so I'm usually around about 185, but he looked like he was on the lighter side of his body frame, which if he's 6'5" and he's expected to impact the game the same way as he was before, if he jumps higher now, which he already skyrocketed out of the gym. So if he could jump higher now, then his knees are at the rim or something crazy. However, I mean, before he was a guy nobody stepped in front of. And I think it was because of his size. Now, is he that intimidating coming towards the rim?
I think so. I mean, you got other guys that are, haven't been Zion's weight that posterize people. So if
Well,
he's jumping
I'm not
high,
saying that. I mean, I thought Zion, and I'm not saying that weight was healthy, but it was almost Charles Barkley like, Karl Malone like.
yeah.
But with the wiggle with it, a little wiggle with it. So now we're looking at this, and his body structure doesn't look quite Scottie Pippen, but it looks like, who is his comparable now? Who is the player that from the past that he now mirrors at that body type?
He's about to be 1-on-1 at this moment. I mean, it depending on how it goes and how it plays out. I think actually for this era, this is probably a really good move for Zion. I mean, you don't have no real fours in the league, anyways. So for him, if he has enough speed now, and he's got post control, I think he's gonna dominate while also staying more healthier because maybe he won't dominate the same way as far as just pure force, but he had a lot of injury history, and I think the weight had a lot to do with that. And I'm not saying I would have ever suggested he lose this much weight, but I think the idea is, hey, I'm gonna just keep it light. And we're in an era where we're playing 4 out on the perimeter, maybe even 5 out, depending on who the big man is. And 1-on-1, he has enough expertise, explosiveness to still get something going. So I think this will be really good for Zion. And the Pelicans are a nice little sleeper team in the West. And hopefully they do something this year.
Yeah, I'd like to see them stay injury free. They seem to always get hit with an injury bug. And I'd like to see Zion be able to play a complete season. and really, start to tap into some of that potential. I tend to want to think or mention into my subconsciousness some of the stuff that I see about him off the court. And so I'd like for and I don't search that stuff out. But I do believe that our youth consume a whole lot more of that. And so I'd like to see him perform well on the basketball court, and I'd like to see him make better decisions off of it. And so if he can do that, I mean, you can already see what they'll invest in you just off of potential.
Yeah, and it's probably a contract year too.
Yeah,
Zion has at least been in the NBA for five years.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So let's see. Is there any other topics? I think that's the end. But was there any other thing that happened this week that we didn't talk about? I don't think so. Well, 11:13. It's a wrap.
Yes, sir.
www.oneintegration.com. Check out. You can learn more about what we do. It's about, this is the podcast table. So as you can see, it's about sports. Young Cam here. He is Cam Era on the podcast table. And then also the writer, producer, or whatever the proper title is behind our anthem, which I get nothing but favorable feedback on. It is absolutely heat, and we are building community. And so what does that look like? We meet you where you are, whether you need to have someone walk with you because you're struggling in some area, or if you are a business owner and you're looking for strategy or business services, we offer those types of things, in addition to marketing and PR and just ways to make sure that your message is disseminated to your target audience. With that being said, this is this episode of the podcast table. I am TechP.
Cam Era, we out.
Peace.
Talk down, talk foul, no call. I am one, they tantrum, TechP,